Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a first impressions on the new Blue Label Chavez knives. If you've been around the knife world for a while, you're very familiar with Ramon Chavez. Way back in the day, we had the Redención Custom and later some Midtex. And since that time, Chavez has been working with Riot to do production stuff. And those have been very well done. We've reviewed probably 3 or 4 different, maybe 4 different ones on the channel so far, but we had not yet had a chance to look at the Blue Label knives. I will give you a quick look at the description here. So this is the 229 drop point in black micarta with an Elmax blade in belt satin finish. So let's go ahead and open this up. We'll see what it looks like when the box shows up. Really nicely done box here. I have to give some credit for that. It is going to ship with the skull clip that, of course, Chavez knives are so famous for. And then it's going to, when it comes, have the standard or the plain clip, the non-skull clip installed. Inside of here, we have the microfiber cloth, which is kind of cool because it's emblazoned with the Chavez logo there. That's pretty neat. And then a bit of paperwork inside. All right, some stickers. Okay, so let's get this stuff out of the way and take a very quick look at the knife. There are a couple things I want to go over with this knife, but I'm going to save sort of the more exhaustive discussion for the full review. First of all, you can see that these clips are pretty readily changeable. Let me give you a quick, okay, this is a T8. Let's see if this fits. So these appear to be T8 and these must be 6. This one doesn't want to fit. Okay, so this is 6. And what about the actual pivot? The pivot is an 8 as well. The only reason I show you that is because these scales are designed to just pop off here pretty easily, much like the Lander from, wow, all of a sudden I can't think, but from the knife's Lander has scales that are easily swappable and a bunch of different scales for sale on their website. The same is true of these Chavez Blue Label knives. So you can pop this black micarta scale off and replace it with a bunch of different colors of G10. And I think there's even some titanium ones there. And they range in price from like 40 bucks, I think like $37 for the G10 ones. The micarta might be a little more than that. And then I think the titanium is like 100 bucks. So you actually could make this into a titanium knife, although it would still be a liner lock. So up front, we have this really, really nice looking Elmax blade. I love Riot's grinder satin. Stonewash on the flats, satin on the bevels. Absolutely gorgeous. Large thumb stud for deployment here, and you can see the Elmax right there. This pivot screw actually goes straight through these scales, and they're all slightly raised. That's kind of a Ramon Chavez deal. So these are all slightly raised. If you take these 3 out, this will come totally off. Of course, you can switch out the pocket clip for another pocket clip if you wanted to do that. And by the way, everything that you're seeing here is going to be stainless steel. So this is a liner lock. By the way, I will do a follow-up video to this before I do my full review, just swapping things out. So I'll take the scales off, we'll switch out the clip, and I want to try some different bearings in this knife from Skiff. So by the way, our Skiff bearings not the greatest thing going for, like 12 or 15 bucks. You can make a vast improvement in a bunch of different knives. So that's really, really cool. And I'm happy that that's available. And so we'll be trying that out on this knife for sure. Okay. Before we leave off, let's grab a quick size and weight, and I'll give you my overall first impressions on this. So this is the sort of larger size of the Chavez options. You can see that the end there is landing just a little over 8 inches. Grip area is going to be, grip area is going to be just under 4 inches, so pretty comfortable even for those of you with rather large hands. Blade length is going to come in at pretty well right on 3.5 inches. If I don't bump the tripod, that would be better. when this is closed up, what you're going to have to fit in your pocket, about 4.5 inches. So again, not too bad. And let's grab a weight before we wrap things up. I guess I should turn this on before weighing the knife, eh? Okay. 5.7 ounces. So this is definitely a hefty knife. But if you're familiar at all with Chavez knives, they're all fairly substantial. So that's pretty well par for the course when it comes to Chavez knives. I will say a couple quick things. The micarta here feels really good in hand. The blade stock is a little bit thinner than I would like to see, but it's not really thin. And that is going to have, you know, nice results in terms of cutting. Also, the LMAX used here, there have been a few people who've tested it and come out with very good results, which is nice. And the action and deployment are nice. Now, the nice thing about the liner lock is it's kind of idiot-proof, because if you recall in previous Chavez videos, and I've done a few of them and many others have as well, you really kind of have to learn to keep your fingers off the lock bar. But with a liner lock, even if you can't remember that and you don't really get used to it, the action stays constant because you can't put any pressure on the lock bar because it's under the scale. Stainless steel liner lock, black micarta, LMAX blade. The last thing I want to point out here is these are not cheap, okay? And I feel like a good price point for this. It is good steel. It is made by Riyadh, and those add to the value for sure. But in Canada, this is like a $300 knife plus a bunch of taxes. In the US, I think this is like $180, $200. And that does seem a little over the top. I feel like if this was 150 bucks, maybe 200 in Canada, that would be more appropriate. As these stand, the value equation is not great. So being a big Chavez fan, I would go ahead and pick this up, but that's kind of the elephant in the room for this. The value equation is kind of weird on this one. You really have to be a fan. You really have to like this design and really want this particular knife to pony up and pay the amount that it costs. So that's going to definitely be a detraction. It's a detraction in my mind even as I look at this, but when I get to a full review and whether or not you can recommend this knife, it's going to be a lot harder to make that recommendation given the price point. Okay, there you go, guys. Quick first impression on the Blue Label Chavez knives. Very cool. I still love the design. I still love the way this feels in hand. I think I'm really going to enjoy once I have the opportunity to switch this out and drop the other pivot in and clean this up a little bit as well. So I'll come back in maybe a week or so with that video. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We will talk to you soon.